Hi everyone. Welcome back to the Pot Smoker's Bible. My name is Zion, and I'm the author of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Bible, or Ketuvim, the Old Testament. And today we are discussing the 23rd chapter of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which is the 20th chapter of the book of Zion. I'm doing part of the dissertation now, and so I'm going to start up where I left off. Okay. Now, when Hera and Zeus merge, the new form will find its mate and become a larger emanation, which forms other universes. We live in a universe that is the emanation of a higher source couple. Other universes exist on other planes, created by other beings on the same level as our source. Hera and Zeus and their mate are but one bubble of life in an endless sea of life bubbles, our wonderful multiverse. And all of these bubble verses are connected, just as our planets are connected. Black holes are roadways between connecting universes. Travel does happen, incorporeal. We live on a circle, in a circle, surrounded by a circle, which is surrounded by a circle, and that itself is surrounded by a circle, on into infinity. And we are connected to other circles within our local group through black holes and white emanations. So, back to us. We, tiny, lowest of life forms, are all on the same journey. We who are ready to graduate to the next highest plane, the Godhead, are able to interact with these higher beings. We are prophets, but we do not yet understand our destiny. So, we live our life as humans. We aren't like other preachers. In fact, we don't preach at all. We don't wear the uniform of the normal priesthood. We don't acknowledge our state of being. We go about our lives as ordinary people, not trying to proclaim our divine connection like priests who wear black robes or suits that preach false ideals of gods that are idols. We dress down, portraying ourselves as you humans see us, poor trash. But, God says, he shall say, I am no prophet. I am an husbandman. For man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. Yes, here is what we proclaim. We are not priests. We aren't prophets. We're just ordinary people who work for a living, like everyone else. We don't preach or proclaim ourselves the prophets. We tell the world that we are just laborers who aren't special at all. No self-respecting drug user would become a modern version of a priest or a preacher or a prophet. My people abhor the religions. They have rejected the false gods. They don't want to be known as priests and prophets because we aren't what society calls priests or prophets. God says, and one shall say unto him, what are these wounds in thine hands? Then he shall answer, those which I had when wounded in the house of my friends. The wounds in our hands talks about the damage we do to our bodies with our drugs. The drugs wound us. In my mind's eye, I see the needle in the hands of a junkie. I'm not a junkie. I don't use needles. But many of my friends do. I believe that it is the needles in the hands of the junkies that is the wound in the hand. The part about being in the house of my friend indicates our social structure. Our hidden nation of Zion is a circle of close friends who party together at the home of one of the households. We are connected to other circles of friends also. We are bound to each other by location and by bonds of friendship and trust. Each group of friends is a sacred circle. The parties we host in our homes are sacred events where we merge our energies and emit sacred joy. That joy gives light to this world. This sacred circle of friends connects us to the source. Our joy is light in our circle, a life giving circle. And all of us belong to more than one circle. Our circles are intertwined in a matrix of our own emanations. We have a web of life that we are weaving. Each circle that we belong to gives life to our emerging matrix. That matrix encompasses the entire planet. When we connect our consciousnesses into this emerging matrix, the old matrix will collapse. Then all of the circles that we belong to will merge into a worldwide web, a matrix of living energy. This new matrix is what I can see. It is now filled with the spirits of Zion and Messiah, who are our parent Godhead. The old matrix has become dark, and it is the darker outer shell that once encased our original matrix. That old matrix is gone, shattered by the new pure form of life known as Zion. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man who is my fellow, saith the Lord of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep will scatter, and I will turn my hands upon the little ones. This verse is talking about the fall of Christianity. Jesus is the shepherd of the Christian flock. For 2 centuries, the church pretty much ruled the world, but it is dying. And the main cause is the corruption of the priesthood, the turning of the hands against the little ones, is the child molestation that is done by the priests. And we are all too familiar with the decades of allegations of priests sexually abusing children. The reason I relate this verse to the priests of Christianity is because in this society the church is recognized means of connection to God. And the false big G God is what I'm talking about. But humans think that they are worshiping the true God. In that regards, Jesus is a fellow to the gray. So Jesus the shepherd is the fellow of God in the eyes of humanity, in the eyes of Christianity. When this book comes out, it will make false the Jesus is God claim of the church. The arrival of the gray at the request of Zion, the true priesthood, will belie the false religion of Jesus as Christ. This text is a sword to be used against the false Christ. The church will be abandoned by many, some of which will come to Zion, but most will scatter, unable to wrap their heads around the events that are belying everything that they have been taught. Very few people will remain in the church itself because the false idol will be seen for what it is, the false God that has no power. They will fear that Jesus isn't coming, and they will be right. All will know that Jesus won't come because Zion is already here belying their false Messiah. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts thereof shall be cut off and die, but a 3rd part shall be left therein. This verse is telling us just how bad global warming is going to be. 2 out of 3 people on Earth are going to die as a direct result of their own wasteful greedy ways. Those who are going to die will die because they are cut off. When the water rises, the land is submerged. Our coastal cities are death traps. Two-thirds of our entire population lives on the coast. All who choose to ignore the warnings of the religions and of science are not going to have time to escape the rising sea levels if they remain on the coast. We are already seeing this happen. We are losing an inch or more of land a year. The water is rising, and all who remain on the coasts are putting themselves in harm's way. Most either don't believe there is a danger, the rest don't think that it'll happen to them, or that it won't happen now. They will stay on the coasts and be trapped by the rising oceans. So only a third of us will survive. Two-thirds of us will be returned to the matrix to be reborn in the next age, and not very many of that two-thirds will come back as humans, and none of them will be born into Zionite families. We humans have become so overpopulated that roughly two-thirds of us were not even human to begin with. As I have said, Earth is finite. She and her husband, the sun, along with their pantheon of friends, only created a finite number of souls. Every wave of grass, every tree, every animal, small or large, and every human was created with the earth. There are only a finite number of souls to inhabit the bodies that we create. In the cycle of planetary life, birth and death are bound to each other. When a pregnancy occurs, so does a death. These births and deaths occur within the species normally, unless the balance is tipped. When a species becomes overpopulated, the souls come from the dead pool. The next available soul will take the birth, even if it's not their kind. So, as our human population rises, so the animal population decreases, even to the point of extinction. But on the upside, we will have very human animals in the next age because we will restore the balance, and by allowing the two-thirds of the human population to go back into the animal kingdom. So they will de-evolve into plants or animals when the fire burns them. And all who are burned will return to their former or their awarded states. This is karmic judgment. Those who die are judged by their deeds in life. It's not what you believe that saves you, it's the things that you do that decides your fate. This is our karmic moment. Everyone on earth is judged after death. The judgment rendered by your deeds determines if you stay human or evolve into a lower or a higher form. Those who aren't human and who did deeds from their animal souls return to that animal form. So a murderer is returned to their predatory form. Don't hate the killer. They're just animals doing what souls of animals know how to do. And vegetarians are herbivores, and the predators still prey on them, only in a human form. So our animals in human skin will return to their true form. That is why most of the people will actually reject Zion. And I have to leave off here, so we'll take up next time where I left off. May the Gray watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you all from harm. May you always be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. Stay happy and high. Know that I love you. Later, because I'll never say goodbye.